Hi, my name is Hongmin Park. I'm a PhD student in Data Intelligence and Learning Lab, DIAL Lab. I'm going to talk about our work titled Why is Normalization Necessary for Linear Recommenders, which is published in Sequoia this year. This work was a collaboration with Minchul Yoon, Hyun Kim, and my advisor Jong Lee. Before diving into the paper, I would like to introduce the conference SIGIR. So, SIGIR is a premier international conference that our lab regularly submits to annually, and is currently in its 48th edition. The conference encompasses a wide range of areas within information retrieval. In recent years, there has been a significant focus on papers exploring LLM and agents. For SIGIR 2025, 238 papers were accepted from 1,105 submissions, with an acceptance rate of approximately 20%. So let's get started. This is the outline of my presentation. Okay, so I'll introduce our paper, introduction of my paper. As many of you know, recommender systems derive a wide spectrum of services, from video streaming platforms like Netflix and YouTube to music streaming services like Spotify. Unlike search, where users actively look for content, recommender systems proactively deliver the content on behalf of the user. The most actively studied paradigm is collaborative filtering, CF, which relies solely on user item interaction histories without any site information, like product titles, pictures, or something like that. With the recent success of deep learning, CF models based on RNNs, GNNs, and transformers have grown rapidly. However, simple linear models sometimes outperform these complex nonlinear models. Also, neural networks are prone to overfitting and can be computationally expensive. In this context, the linear autoencoder LAE offers both advantages: high accuracy and high efficiency. So let's examine why data normalization is necessary, and specifically what problems it solves. First, there is the popularity bias problem. According to our findings, linear autoencoders without normalization tend to primarily recommend popular items. This maintains high performance for header items. So, header items is top 20% popular items, but shows significantly lower recommendation performance for tail items. So here, tail items are the bottom 80% of items by popularity. However, LAE with normalization is able to substantially improve the performance of tail items while retaining competitive performance of head items. This demonstrates that normalization plays a crucial role in enhancing the performance of unpopular items. Next is the effect of normalization of neighborhood bias. Normalization consistently improves LAE's performance across 6 datasets because it effectively captures global item correlations while mitigating the influence of local item relationships. High homophilic datasets mean that similar items are closely connected and there are many shared global patterns in the dataset. For such dataset, normalization can achieve higher absolute performance and greater performance gains. So let's move on to the background. Basically, linear autoencoders LAEs utilize a user item matrix, which is constructed by user feedback, such as clicks or non-clicks. Here, clicks are 1 and non-clicks are 0 in the matrix. LAE runs an item-item wave matrix that reconstructs the input user item matrix. We can write this as the following objective function. By optimizing this objective, we can obtain a closed form solution easily. You can see that the solution is composed of gram matrices. LAE has 2 key limitations. First one is popularity bias. It is strongly influenced by popular items and thus over-recommends them. Second one is neighborhood bias. It mainly captures local item relations that reflect individual user taste, but often misses global item relationships shared by most users. To tackle both limitations, we utilize normalization for LAEs. You may not be familiar with neighborhood bias, so let me illustrate it. In the figure, user A and user B are linked through the item blue shirt, but their true preferences differ. User A is interested in the color blue, while user B is interested in the category of shirt. Such mismatched neighbors propagate irrelevant or noisy signals. Eventually it degrades recommendation quality. Typically, when we refer to normalization, it means smoothing out an imbalanced data distribution, as shown in the following figure. Through this process, normalization, we can mitigate some biases, such as popularity bias. Normalization can be broadly categorized into 2 types. First one is data normalization. Data normalization adjusts the contributions of users and items in the data itself, while the second one is parameter normalization. Parameter normalization modulates the magnitude of embedding vectors or model output. Between these 2 types, we aim to focus on data normalization, the first one. This is because when using models, they can derive closed form solution, such as array, we can analyze them theoretically. Normalization is widely used in linear and non-linear recommenders, but its intrinsic effect has rarely been analyzed theoretically, particularly in the context of arrays. Because array is training-free, it is suitable for such analysis. The closed-form solution of the normalized array is p tilde plus lambda I inverse p tilde. Here I is an identity matrix. For example, for symmetric normalization, the user item matrix and gram matrix are further scaled by degree matrices, item and usual degree matrices. Let me explain the effect of normalization with a toy example. The matrix in the upper left is the original gram matrix without normalization. When you derive the array solution using this gram matrix, the similarity weight between popular items I1 and I2 have larger values, while I1 and I3, 4 have smaller values. As a result, it tends to recommend popular items more. On the other hand, the array solution with normalization shows that the similarity weight values between I1 and I2, 3, 4 become similar. Consequently, each item is recommended at a similar level. It demonstrates how normalization affects actual recommendation result. We first review existing normalization methods. Their effect depends on how the gram matrix P tilde is built, but they mitigate bias with fixed weight, ignoring dataset characteristics. By contrast, our data adaptive normalization done tailors the treatment of popularity and neighborhood bias to each dataset. So let's move on to the proposed method and experiment. Dan generalizes previous existing normalization methods and comprises two parts: item adaptive normalization and user adaptive normalization. First part, item adaptive normalization denoises the input matrix and directly controls popularity bias. We measure the popularity bias using the item side Gini index and tune the hyperparameter alpha. Since datasets with a small Gini index value indicate that various items are clicked evenly, we use the smaller alpha value to enable the model to recommend unpopular items more frequently. So our quick solution is that the dataset with a highly skewed item distribution require a larger alpha, whereas the less skewed dataset benefit from a smaller alpha. Empirically, we found that Dan makes the weight of popular and unpopular items more similar. This encourages the model to consider both types of items evenly. Also, we found that datasets with a high Gini index, Movie Range, and Netflix performed best at alpha 0.1, while those with a low Gini index, Yelp and Book, peaked at alpha 0.3, and 4. These results support our earlier quick solution. Usual adaptive normalization controls neighborhood bias. We introduce a new metric called the weighted homophily ratio to decide decides what beta value to use. A high weighted homophily ratio indicates low neighborhood bias, so we set beta to a larger value. Conversely, when the weighted homophily ratio is low, indicating high neighborhood bias, so we set beta to a smaller value. Theoretically, usual adaptive normalization shapes the eigenvalue spectrum in the array solution, letting array focus on local or global patterns. Increasing beta retains only a few large eigenvalues, emphasizing global structures. It is effective for datasets with low neighborhood bias. For the details of the full proof, please refer to our paper. Also, we experimented with beta just as we did with alpha. High homophilic datasets, Orange and Netflix scored best at beta equals to 0.6, whereas low homophilic datasets, Yelp and Book peaked at beta equals to 0.2. This result also suggests our earlier quick solution. This result supports our earlier quick solution of beta. We evaluated our proposed DAN on 6 benchmark datasets under 4 protocols. Average overall AOA is an evaluation metric over all the items, and the tail and unbiased metrics were designed to measure the mitigation of popularity bias. Improving our normalization DAN to array preserves overall accuracy while substantially boosting performance on unpopular items. This suggests DAN's ability to adaptively modulate for both popularity and neighborhood biases. We also conducted performance comparisons using the evaluation protocols of training-based self-models. We compared the performance with recent self-models, including 3 neural models, 3 linear models, and 3 array models. Array models equipped with DAN match or surpass the latest linear and non-linear self-models. Finally, let me present our conclusion. To summarize, we confirm that applying DAN to array shows significant gains for long-tail items and under unbiased evaluation on all 6 benchmarks. Unlike fixed, random walk, or symmetric normalization, DAN provides the flexibility to dynamically adjust popularity and neighborhood biases. Also, DAN is easily tuned based on the characteristics of the dataset. As future work, we can explore extending DAN to neural network models, normalizing either the input user item metrics or the intermediate layers in neural networks. This is the end of my presentation. Thanks for your time.